Hey everyone, it's Kong again, and here's another episode of Should You Summon, one of 3 this week. As always, I'll be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. How these characters fit into your team, whether they unlock any bonds, what kind of content they get used for, and their future availability. So let's get right into another Raid Up banner featuring Brenda and Mariel, running from July 22nd to August 4th. Since it's not a Destiny banner, you have a 40% chance of getting each on-banner character, with the remaining unlucky 20%, as always, reserved for any off-banner hero in the regular summoning pool. So let's just dive in and get started with Brenda. Brenda is a high DPS cavalry and lancer with a talent that gives you a free additional turn after attacking or being attacked a certain number of times. Her 3-cost skill passively makes incoming AoE damage count towards her talent act again. As an active attack, her 3C lets her move an additional 3 spaces before attacking and then lets her move through enemies as well. Her exclusive armor dispels 2 debuffs and gives her a turn of damage boost and damage reduction every time her talent's Act Again triggers. She's a member of Yles Legends, buffed by Landius and Sigma, and Meteor Strike, buffed by Zerida and Epsilon. For bonds, she unlocks the defensive bonds for Shalinka, Helena, and the King of the Red Moon. For her own bonds, she needs Virash to unlock her defensive bond and Rainforce to unlock her attack bond. For content, in PvE she's on faction for Scylla and Phoenix in the Eternal Temple. She's also top tier for both Nidhogg and Jormungandr in Ancient Beckoning, with her talent's extra turns speeding up her DPS dramatically. She is niche in PvP, and her limited factions aren't doing her any favors here, with Landius and Yles Legends maybe starting to see a little bit of a decline as well. For availability, Brenda doesn't show up on the predicted banner schedule again for the rest of the year, so don't expect her to headline another banner until late December at the earliest. So moving right along to Mariel. Mariel is a healer/DPS combo. At the start of a map, she starts in healing mode, with plus 50% to all healing effects, and she takes 25% less damage, but she also deals half damage. The passive element of her 3C makes her automatically restore HP to the lowest 2 members of your team after each turn, so she starts as a fairly robust passive healer. That all changes as soon as she initiates an attack. It switches off her healing mode, so she no longer gets those passive bonuses and penalties. Instead, she gets plus 3 mobility from her 3C passive, and she gets to act again. Her 3-cost skill as an attack strips 3 buffs, pushes the target back 3 spaces, and if the attack was guarded, it does extra damage. It also gives you a buff for your next action, giving you plus 20% damage and guard ignore. She has a bunch of good skills too, but the main one worth mentioning is a 1-cost skill that removes 2 debuffs, heals her for 30%, and lets her move 2 more spaces before attacking. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier, and Langrisser Reincarnation, buffed by Ares and Hilda. For bonds, she unlocks the defensive bond for Suzette, and for her own bonds, she needs the Light of Genesis for her defensive bond and Rosalia for her attack bond. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Scylla and Hugin and Munin and Sleipnir, but she's more of a playmaker, not really necessarily designed for sustained PvE boss fights. She could be a good jobber in general story-type content, though. She's definitely more designed for PvP, with a kit that lets her swing the momentum of a match. She can bide her time and get some passive healing in to support your main healer while waiting for an opportunity to launch her 1-2 punch. For availability, she actually is coming back in early December on a Destiny banner alongside Werner and Patsir. Those are 2 characters that, well, a lot of people might not already have both of them, so that banner may not be a guaranteed Mariel for a lot of players. It's just going to be something to think about though for your future planning. Okay, so here's the quick and dirty. We have Brenda, who's a single target DPS with the occasional Act Again. She unlocks the defensive bonds for Shalinka, Helena, and the King of the Red Moon, and she's a top DPS versus Nidhogg and Jormungandr. We also have Mariel, who's a hybrid healer and DPS playmaker. She has an Act Again and Guard Ignore combo when she switches modes, and she unlocks the defensive bond for Suzette. Now, by extremely popular demand, the Notes for Noobs section is back. So if you're a newer player with a newer account, or you just don't mind getting an extra little verdict to help you digest all this information, basically, should you summon? Brenda is a top pick for 2 Ancient Beckoning fights for several months to come. The most important bond she currently unlocks is Helena, so if you care about leaderboarding in Ancient Beckoning, or if you're using an Empire team in PvP and you want to use Helena, then gotta remember, Brenda's not on another banner for a while, so yeah, summon for her. Mariel is a dangerous, well-rounded unit in PvP. Characters like this who can bring a lot of utility to your team are pretty easy to fit into almost any box. If you're deep enough into PvP that you know you want to add her to your box, then you probably don't need my advice here. She does have a Destiny banner coming up, which may make summoning here less urgent. If you're missing all 3 characters on that banner, then you actually have a better chance to get her now, be 40% as opposed to like 26%. But if you're only missing 1 or 2, then the Destiny banner actually gives you better odds. Finally, just a note about upcoming banners. Next week is the launch of the new crossover with Ronin Warriors, featuring Kaiyura and Ryo Sanada. We'll also be able to get the free SR hero Toma Hashiba from the accompanying Secret Realm event. Kaiyura at least made a big splash in PvP, so she'll be a must summon for a lot of players. The week after that, we'll have a Raid Up banner featuring Hilda and Yulia, and the week after that, a Langrisser Reincarnation Destiny banner with Ares, Nomi, and Maya. Alright, that's it for this episode. Hopefully you found these summaries helpful enough to be worth a little thumbs up. And let me know in the comments if you're planning on summoning and what kind of luck you ended up having. I'm actually still missing Mariel, and I was originally planning on summoning for her here, but now that I know about that Destiny banner, I'm going to be patient and cheap. As always, thank you so much for watching, best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members, Levitt, Derek Gunderson, Kyle Greer-Brown back into house, William Householder, and Kate Soon, as well as all of our gold tier members for your generous support.